You're listening to The Foundation of Wellness, a refreshing take on diet and lifestyle. Join me, Marisa Moon, as we tackle modern health with innovative and ancient principles. I'm a certified primal health coach and intermittent fasting instructor at marisamoon.com. Well, hey everyone, it's me, Marisa. Thanks for tuning in to the Foundation of Wellness podcast. Times are still really strange. I mean, at the time of recording this, it's April 14th, 2020, and we are still all in social isolation and on lockdown. I decided to make this very intimate and honest episode today. I was inspired by a combination of things, but I feel like there's something missing out there in everyone's content. It's like everywhere I turn, they're telling us how to be productive and how to stay positive and keep going. Your life isn't on hold. And I also understand a lot of people I care about, like my best friends, don't want to be talking about downer type of things or coronavirus related things. And it's been hard for me because I should express myself, but I don't even know where to do that. And I know there are plenty of people in my life willing to listen. It's just weird when you start to feel this way and you start to feel really down, you don't even want to talk about it. So it's hard to just reach out and do it. Now, I feel like a vulnerability and authenticity in content that represents how so many of us are feeling right now is needed. I mean, I can't be the only one going through all of these confusing emotions. And it was just 2 weeks ago that I started feeling depressed again. Now, I have a tendency towards depression. It's been a really long time, thankfully, that I've had any chronic depression, like anything that lasts more than a few weeks. Many, many years, thank goodness for that. But still, it's just a tendency that my mood and emotions go towards. And it seems to be because of one of two things. It's either, well, primarily it's because my big plans get interrupted, which is clearly what we're all dealing with right now. Like, no matter what you're going through, it is not what you were planning on doing. And secondly, it happens around my menstrual cycle. And I definitely suffer from PMS. And those symptoms affect my mood in such a dramatic way that it's very easy to get it confused with depression when it does hit. My most recent depressive phase just happened, like I said, a couple weeks ago. And I decided to make a podcast about it because I think there must be other people out there with similar experiences as me during this time. And everyone posting things like life is not on hold is trying to stay positive, but I think life really is on hold for so many of us. I mean, tell that to people who lost their jobs. Tell that to people who had to say goodbye to a family member or a loved one, and they can't even have a proper funeral right now because of social distancing. And for anyone that's just struggling, I mean, we are definitely feeling like life is on hold, and I think that's okay. It needs to be okay. I needed that kind of permission. I know I really, really needed that kind of permission. And for those of you who don't know what depression is like, I'm about to explain it, and you're either going to think this lady is crazy, or you're going to understand, or maybe you know somebody else who goes through what this depression was like for me. It definitely starts to ooze its way into my daily life when it starts to creep up. It's like a slow creep that approaches so gradually, and it feels very familiar, unfortunately. I begin to feel like everything in life is just too hard. Getting up is too hard. Going to sleep is too hard. Going to bed, I should say, properly going to bed. Calling a friend is too hard. Opening my mouth to even talk to my husband who's sitting right next to me is too hard. Forget about getting dressed or doing activities that I supposedly enjoy. Because when I get depressed, I don't even want to cook. And cooking is one of my very favorite things to do. Not only do I not want to do these things when I'm depressed, though, I am constantly on the verge of tears or crying at just the thought of doing these things because I feel guilty that I don't want to do them. Or just thinking about them makes me think of all the things that I should be doing or should have done. And it makes me feel awful about myself. And I feel just completely paralyzed with inaction and overwhelm. And I think even the smallest tasks are just too difficult. So it was last Tuesday, I think, I finally told my husband what was going on. And I just burst into tears telling him I'm fighting depression. And he tried to help. He eventually did help after a few more rounds of tears and all of my refusals. He kept telling me to get up and go outside with him. Just, let's go outside. You'll feel better if you do something. You'll feel better if you do something. And I would just cry more because the thought of going outside sounds so stupid if you don't understand, but the thought of going outside just made me think to myself, I can't. I feel so ugly, and I don't want to go outside in the sunlight for you to see my face. And admitting that out loud eventually to him just made me cry more. And then, I told him I was sad because I didn't make something for my dad's birthday, which was that day. And he asked me what I wanted to make and told me he would help me. And that's what really got me up out of bed and to stop crying, because I knew that he could help me make something really great. He's super artistic, and just that was the most immediate, most urgent thing that I needed to get done that was making me feel like crap about myself. And I just told him, okay, I will meet you downstairs and outside where we were going to grab supplies, but I need to shower first and get ready because I feel awful and I need to fix myself, or I won't get over this whole insecurity that I'm dealing with right now. And that helped a lot too. So over the next couple of days, I realized I needed to buckle down and do something about this before it gets too bad. So I started reading my favorite self-help books. There's one particularly about hormones and emotions called Beyond Mars and Venus. I can't recommend this book enough. I just think it's so fascinating. And in this book, it really talks about things you need to do to alter or affect your hormones or bring them more into balance. And this was all happening to me about 5 to 7 days before my menstrual cycle was about to start. And that's when all of our hormones plummet and get to their lowest point. And it can be incredibly stressful for women to experience that. Eventually, I got myself out of the depression by practicing self-care, going in my sauna. I'm very, very blessed to have an infrared sauna. I was walking on the treadmill against my own will, no matter how slow it was, or if I had to have coffee with me on the treadmill, whatever it took, I was trying to get there and get moving. And I was coloring, I was ordering arts and crafts supplies, talking to friends, and cooking. And I told my business coach about what I was going through, which happened to be that same Tuesday. I had my big breakdown. And he happened to be telling us that day about morning rituals and the importance of them. And I know how important they are, and I talk about them a lot, and I usually have a morning ritual, but I, of course, haven't had one in a while. And that made me realize, okay, this is a great way to get out of my depression. I need to start meditating every morning again. And the meditation sequence that I choose lately is the one from a book called Stress Less, Accomplish More by Emily Fletcher. And that 15-minute meditation is a combination of mindfulness, meditation, and visualization to start your day. And since it's only 15 minutes, it's no excuses. So I added in that in my morning routine right when I get out of bed. Don't even go downstairs. Don't see the dogs. Don't let them out. Don't talk to anybody. And I go feed the dogs after my meditation, and I go work out. And then right after that, I go in the shower, and I get ready, and I put makeup on. For women, that's a big one. We've been staying home, and it's really tempting to never put makeup on again and never to put on any clothes that we actually care about. So I knew that these couple of things could help, and they did. They eventually did. Now, some of the other big things that made a difference for me was cutting back on the unnecessary workload that I was trying to continue since we've been in quarantine. And it's true. I have some things that I really have to do to generate income, and I'm very grateful for that income and so thankful that I still have work. But there are a lot of things that I don't have to do. They're like self-imposed pressures that I'm just trying to keep up the pace or trying to keep up with my industry right now during this time. And that added stress was like so not needed for me in this state right now. Now, let me tell you, where I live, we don't even have high-speed internet. They call it high-speed internet, but it's from a satellite, and it's limited, so it's not unlimited data. And sometimes it's not even fast enough for me to watch Netflix or YouTube. I can never go live from home. And if I do any Zoom calls or try to do video conferencing or FaceTime, it's really delayed, like 10-second delays every time I want to talk. And so conversationally, that just does not work. It's okay when I do like group calls or conferences because I'm listening most of the time. But can you imagine me trying to do my usual work or make videos and keep up with what everyone's doing right now to make content and trying to do that without high-speed internet? It's been so stressful for me. And I also can't even do things for enjoyment that other people are doing. I can't even stream these workout classes. So in a lot of ways, that has been so stressful for me. And Eric, my husband, reminded me that I still can go to my office. I just should go when no one is there, and we should both do our parts to make sure that everything is like totally sanitized. And so that's what I've been doing. It made me feel so much better knowing I can go there twice a week while no one is there. I can use their fast internet, and I can take client calls while I'm there, and I can just get out of the house and feel like more responsible being in a work setting. So I really, really miss that. Something that really resonated with me, I saw on social media, and it kind of helped me decide to do this episode, was from an artist. Her name is Fletcher. She's a singer, and she wrote an Instagram post that captured my feelings so precisely. And it confirmed my need to just make this episode for you and be honest with my feelings. And I'm going to read it to you now because I think it is just so awesome. So here it goes. Fletcher says, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster of emotions within a single day, even an hour. As an artist with a platform, I feel pressure to post more, to take advantage of an audience that's sitting at home ready to digest content. I'm seeing what my peers are doing and thinking, man, I should do that. Or I wish I thought of that. And just somehow, I'm always feeling like I'm behind, like I'm not doing enough, like I should do more. I have a million ideas of things I could be doing right now and how this time could be really creative and beneficial, and I could use it to find a new hobby or get better at playing the guitar, which I've been wanting to do for years. And like I should be writing songs or posting more videos, more covers. Like I should be promoting my new single more, talking about it more. But the truth is, I'm having a really hard time even formulating words right now. And the idea of videos just makes me feel pressure to put on makeup and a good outfit and look enough like a pop star. When the reality is my hair's been in the same messy bun, and I've rotated the same 4 t-shirts and sweats combinations since I got to my parents' house, where I've been on this worn-out leather couch, face deep in everything my mom is cooking, next to my little brother who's finishing his last semester of college on his laptop, petting our cats, which I'm deathly allergic to, but having cute furry things around the house makes me happy, and also just holding my dad's hand and asking him stupid questions about his childhood, because if this time has taught me anything, it's that we're running out of it, and it's so precious. And there's no better time than right now to get to know the people in your life that you love. So when I put it in perspective, all this other stuff I'm worried about just doesn't feel important. It actually feels tone deaf to what's really happening. So I get mad that I'm even stressing about how I can take advantage of this time when people are literally dying and losing their jobs and their businesses and their loved ones. And I'm right here next to my loved ones. I feel a lot of things, both hopeful and scared. Worried about my family and my feelings. Feeling sad for the state of the world right now. Grief. Like I'm mourning the collective loss of humanity or something. while also mourning the experiences I thought I'd be having right now and the growth that accompanies that. I'm feeling grateful for all the doctors and nurses on the front lines fighting this, our heroes, and also helpless, like I should be helping in some greater way. All the feelings that are fighting for my attention, to be heard and understood. That's something we all want though, right? To be heard and understood. But maybe here, with this silence and stillness, is where the real experience is, where the most growth is. Maybe it's been hiding here this whole time. Maybe I just need to listen. Since I don't have a cure for all this madness, I guess the only thing I can offer is a little honesty about the experience I'm having right now. I've been procrastinating writing this for like 4 days because I'm finding it really hard to even sit down and write my feelings out. But thinking about reading your response is what motivated me to share it. So for anyone that's still reading this, just want to say, for anyone that's not feeling like you're doing enough right now, it's okay. We're 2 weeks into an MFing pandemic. Like it makes sense to not feel like yourself or know what you're supposed to be doing. I sure as heck don't. And also, whatever else you're feeling, that's cool too. We're all going through it, and it's okay for the feelings to coexist within you at the same time. I'm trying to embrace them and find the balance of it all. A work in progress, and that's just where I'm at today. Maybe I'll feel different tomorrow, and that's okay too. Love always and forever, Fletch. Thanks for listening to that one because I felt like you had to hear the whole thing. I mean, it's really singing to exactly what I've been feeling. And I always feel like I need to be doing more. I feel like I need to be creating more. I feel like I need to be better. And instead, maybe I just need time to sit with my emotions and take care of myself. Less time to work and more time to just be and to feel better. I mean, how great can I be for everyone out there if I am not feeling great myself? And I almost didn't even record this episode because you can hear my husband chainsawing and weed whacking in the background. Oh, God. This is one thing after another. Like, being an ADHD person, adaptability is a big issue of ours. Many of us struggle with the ability to adjust our thoughts or our thinking or our plans to deal with new and changing uncertain situations. So that's why it often triggers my depression, because I will be like full blown into some plans that I feel very proud of executing and delivering. Like, for instance, my intermittent fasting course or all of those summits I've been doing on intermittent fasting and my research on fasting's effects on ADHD. So then now we have to deal with this pandemic and social isolation, and none of that seems as relevant or important anymore. I'm not even fasting every day. And so I lost that momentum and I feel completely like purposeless at times. And without a deep purpose and clear vision for what I'm doing at this moment in time, I just feel empty and sad, and it makes me feel like I'm not enough. Even though I know I am, it's just an expression that best summarizes the feeling that you have in the moment. It's like you're empty. It's just an emptiness that can't really be fixed by one thing. It's so much deeper than that. And remember also, for us women, it really is important to learn about the stages of our cycle. Something I learned from that book by John Gray called Beyond Mars and Venus. I learned a bajillion things in it, and I reread this book and go back to it a million times. I can't say enough about it. But he explains that progesterone, a hormone, is the important hormone that has a major effect on our mood as women. And estrogen excites the brain, while progesterone calms the brain. So while both are required during the second half of a woman's cycle, which is where I was at when this depression kicked in, progesterone needs to be higher. Otherwise, stress symptoms will increase. Now, progesterone is responsible for caring and friendly behavior. Research reveals that it's produced when we experience social bonding, which really we see levels of progesterone increase when women have close, harmonious, and friendly social interactions with other women or men who are just friends. So clearly I was not doing progesterone boosting activities because I was in social isolation. It's like, no wonder I was low in progesterone. And progesterone is also produced when a woman takes time to nurture her own needs for fun, happiness, love, and pleasure. Basically, anytime a woman primarily depends on herself for her fulfillment during a non-stress producing activity, progesterone is produced. So not only was I not doing social bonding activities, but I was also not doing self-nurturing activities because I was just trying to keep up with everything and continue my workload. And so the only non-work related activities I was doing was obligatory cooking and watching TV. And many of us think like watching TV helps reduce our stress, but most of the things we're watching and most of the ways we're engaging with it don't, unfortunately, reduce our stress. So I read over these lists of progesterone stimulating activities like playing card games or board games with friends, going to yoga, or making a meal together with people, spending time with friends or family, sharing in a women's support group, or getting involved in fundraisers, sharing with friends or a girls' night out, attending a concert. So I start crying because I'm like, I can't do any of those things. I don't even have good enough internet to do any of those things, like streaming, like everybody else is doing right now. So then I read the next list, which is self-nurturing activities. I'm like, okay, I can do this, time to learn a new skill or read a book that you've been wanting to read or try a recipe you've been wanting to try with no expectations, no time commitment or limit on the activity that you're doing. Create time for projects around the house that you've been wanting to do, or time to journal your emotions or thoughts or feelings. Practice meditation. And watch a show with a character who you can relate to. Or gardening, exercising, spending time in nature, taking a candlelit bath, and listening to great music, or dancing alone. So I did start playing all different kinds of music, and I have been, but I just upped it a lot when I was going through the depression. I was playing my happy playlist, I was dancing, which I know my dogs love, made them laugh, makes me laugh. And I started doing a lot of these things. It really, really helped. And what social bonding and self-nurturing have in common is that they are activities that a woman does for her own personal benefit without sacrifice for other people. And any of these activities are particularly helpful during that second part of your cycle leading right up to your period. And that's when you need to have more progesterone than estrogen to lower your stress hormones. That was really what I needed, and a combination of all the things I explained to you today helped me get out of it. But I think that if more of us feel comfortable talking about these things, then we won't feel so ashamed or alone in it. And I just want you to know one of the things that I've decided to take the pressure off of myself with is the podcast, because even though it's one of my favorite things to do, it takes the most time out of anything else that I do. Just from conceptualizing an episode to recording it, those are the easier parts, but to edit it and upload it and write show notes and make promotional materials, that's all very time consuming. So you combine that all together, and I'm working on it all week. And since most people are staying home now and they're not commuting, less people are listening to podcasts. So I decided to keep a couple of my upcoming guests, and I will make some solo episodes like these ones whenever I'm inspired. And I hope that you keep listening and subscribing and downloading and sharing this podcast, because that will ensure that after this is all said and done, or when I'm back full force, I will still have a loyal audience here waiting for me to produce more content. I'm going to do my best to make content that is relevant to you. And please share this episode if you know somebody who can benefit from my honesty. And thank you for letting me be myself. You can always join me for a conversation in the DMs on Instagram at Marisa_Moon_. And inside the Foundation of Wellness Facebook group, you can find that at facebook.com/groups/FOW podcast. Again, that group is the Foundation of Wellness. I can't wait to meet you online. Bye.